everybody. So my coffee shop today is going to be about having a plan. And the plan needs to be written down. If you're one that can't remember what your next step is or what else you got to do or what your tasking is or remember to send an email or remember to update somebody, then you need to write it down. You need to have a check sheet. Now, my wife comes up with Honey to do stuff. I say, write it down. Give me your priorities. I make her do it because I work off the priorities and things I know I see around the house that need to be fixed. So in order to accomplish the things that she has, either hanging up pictures, helping with curtains, moving furniture, assembling something, putting nails in a wall, patching holes in a wall, fixing a door, fixing something to come off a hinge, that's stuff that she sees. So I tell her to put it down. Like just recently we talked about pressure washing the pool area because it's that time again. We always do about twice a year. So I said, write it down, pick a day, and I have a day I'm taking off, which will be tomorrow. And so what are we going to do? We're going to work that pool and do all the pressure washing. I'm going to reset the pool timing, put it on different times because it's winter time now. I'll super treat it. I'll clean the deck on it. But there's things I got to pick up too. I need more salt. I need more chlorine. So those things I told her to write that down. So when we go to the store, we can pick those things up. So she writes the stuff down that's for the house and shopping that we both have to do. And then you got your one at work. Now, the one at work, I use electronic. So I've actually converted over. We have converted over a while ago. And sending out where the manager sent out a email with what they want work. I look at it and then I try to reset it up, reprioritize for us able to work it in a timely manner efficiently. So I look at it. Sometimes I have the power to do it. Sometimes I just got to go with the flow. It depends on what the day is. So we work off a check sheet when it comes to my code. Problem I see a lot is the other managers, and I've saw this through my whole career, it's not just isolated, that other managers don't do a checklist. They don't write things down. So you end up what I call winging it. So you wing it all day, and then you go at the end of the day, shit, I forgot something. And then you write it down, and then you want let's say you have 2 or 3 shifts, then you want them to do it. But did you look at the manpower of those other 2 shifts? Can they do it? Or should it be put to the next morning where the manpower typically is more on a day shift? Typically should be manage and inspect what you expect. Remember that topic? And you should put it where you are the one that forgot it and your team works it. But you should have a plan. You should have a work log. If you're an efficient shop, a lot of times you'll find out you're efficient because you have a work plan. You have a book. So I created a book in my divisions, and it goes back to a funny story. I started a long time ago, and I used to have a ledger. And what I did is I wrote the work down that I got tasked with during the day, and that was Henry's work log. And then what happened was I had a chief one time looked at it and said, you know, that's a pretty cool idea there, Petty Officer Schwinn, Henry. I said, well, wow. I said, it is a good idea. And so what he did is he adopted it, and it became a working work log. It was a record book, a green one that the Navy gave us. And we just wrote everything down inside that. Everything. So he would say, if you have a doctor appointment, you're going to write this down for me so I can remember. And every day you'll carry it over. And as we get closer, we'd build trip points. So it'd be like, let's say the doctor appointment was on a Friday. So the owner of that appointment would have to remind everybody on a Thursday. And we'd write it in there. Remind the chief about, I'm off tomorrow because I have a dentist appointment at 8 o'clock or whatever. Ship the shop stuff, picking up stuff, Honey to do things, anything that would impact the divisional work or the work went in that log. Things that I, as a leader, when I came out of the leader meeting, would write down so we didn't forget. Remind the guys to do this. Remind them about liberty. Remind them about drinking and driving. Remind them about this. Remind them about that. We wrote it all down. And you re-emphasize that. Then you put your work in there for the day. And as a chief, I empowered my first classes. I said, if you're going to work off something, frontline work leaders, you're going to work off of this. So I would put all my mindset in there, and that taught them how to manage work. 1, you're tracking your work. 2, you don't forget as much. 3, it teaches your leaders to be leaders and work off of that and not pester you every 2 minutes about what do you got next, what do you got next, what do you got next. It's in the book. If something new comes up, you put an asterisk next to it and you say new information. Then you set a priority. Is it priority 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Where does it stand? If I got something down in 11, 12, 15 area, then I got an expectation that's going to come 10, 12, 11, 15, not 1, right? So make sure you set things in priority. You know, if your priority 1 is all the way at the bottom, that's, you know, shame on you that you're stupid. I had to think about my night shift. You know, if I had duty section guys, I'd ask them, what watches you got? And I make them write it in the book. Okay, he's got this watch at this time and that time. Well, he can't do this. So I had to come up with a game plan where they got sleep. I didn't overtask them. And I was able to accomplish work the next day. And those guys that had the duty 24 hours before weren't involved in the game plan the next day because they'd had sleep deprivation. For you that don't know, that have never slept on a submarine, I didn't sleep well. So I would have normal sleep deprivation because I just didn't sleep. Because who's going to get in the afternoon, get off watch at 4 o'clock, turn around, get 3 hours sleep, got to get up at 8, stand another watch. I mean, it was just terrible. So you get very bad sleep habits, you get very bad sleep deprivation, and it messes up your whole life force of who you are. So as a leader, I had to realize that, hey, I'm standing duty 1 every 8 days, these guys standing duty every 3 days. I got to think about that that 4th day, that they got sleep deprivation. They're not all there. Why would I put them on a job that's going to jeopardize their life, right? That's going to hurt them. So you got to think about all that stuff. As a work leader, when you're doing any kind of job, anywhere on a ship, submarine, Empire State Buildings, high buildings, building offices, you know, are you people coherent? Are they had enough sleep? Are they there? Are their mindset right? And are they going to hurt themselves because you tasked them with something that's dangerous? So you got to look at all that. That's got to be a big picture thing. You can do that better with a work log and tracking your work and figuring out what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, right? And what's all going on in your shop. It's a really good tool to help you. It's got a lot of benefits, writing evals, giving guys bonuses, time off, who's done what, where. It's a good process. It's a good program if you use it correctly. I encourage people using some kind of plan tracker, some kind of work log, and talking to your people and empowering your next level leaders to use that and teaching that. That's how that's important, right? And they can do that kind of stuff. And you can do that by writing it down and staying focused with what you're doing. You can't do that if it's all in your head. Nobody can read your mind. Nobody will read your mind. And what will happen is you'll get failure because nobody knows exactly who's following what, where, when. I'm telling you, I encourage you to use some kind of work log, some kind of record book, something that you can use people to go to and see what the next tasking is. And then you can put a square box, you can put a check mark next to it's completed. That's the tool I recommend people use all the time. No different than secretaries. Take a note. The boss will say, take a note, mark this down, look at the planner. It's amazing how many people don't use planners. It's amazing how many tools that people have to their disposal and they don't use them. Excel spreadsheets. You can query stuff. You can go by date. You can go by expiration. The next time it's due for a period of checking. People don't use it. Out of office, they don't use it. They don't use online Outlook planners when they have access to it. Calendars. It's amazing the different tools that people have created to try to help people be better and more organized at what they do, and they don't do it. And they don't use it. And they don't use those things. They don't use those tools at all. In fact, they actually use them less when they should be using them more. So use those tools. Use something to help your people understand what your brain's thinking and what you need and what you can do for yourself. And then you'll find out, you'll get more efficient. And then you carry it over. You come in the morning. I used to come in early. I would take a look at my work log, and I would take that information that wasn't completed, and I'd recapitalize that. I'd go 3-4 days back. I'd make my people that have appointments redocument it. If it got changed, or first thing I say, hey, did your doctor appointment change? Yeah. Did this change? Yeah. Okay, put it in a work log. It got to be so efficient then I'm going to tell you a quick story, and then I'm going to end my coffee shop talk. It got to be so efficient. We were switching between crews on a BN submarines. We switched crews, right? And so we got to the boat, and the guys had left a box with several different work logs up in the office, and they were spazzing out. They got to the boat. Where's the work log? Where is it? Oh my God! It had RPP, it had parts in it. It had part numbers. It had information, what oil when we did stuff. It had a lot of information. And they went through after we closed out a log. I made them go through and highlight key things in the log, right, or bend the pages back so they could go back and reference them. So look, all behold, couldn't find a work log up in the off crew office. So they go back up there. It ain't up there. Where is it? 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 They can't find it. Well, one of the guys had put it away and locked them up because they went on leave and forgot about it. So for a week, we didn't have that specific there was 4 different work logs over the period of time I was running that division that they couldn't find. And there was this data. They were just chewing at the bit. They wanted to go back and look at stuff. So that was the proof in the pudding to them that work log had a valuable asset given back to them over the 4 years I served with those guys, and how important it is to have such a tool to use it. It is great to go back for reference. I do everything, and this drives people nuts. They laugh at me because I text all the time. I do group text, individual text, and I text rather than talk on phone. Here's why. Back in the Navy day, they gave you a riddle to say, and you were on sound-powered phones. These are phones that can take your voice and send it to another phone. Like the old fucking tin cans with a string thing, right? So, they give you this riddle, and you have to recite the riddle to one guy. The guy would have to say it to somebody else. That other guy would say it to somebody else. So anyways, you'd have 10 people, let's say. So and it wasn't a hard riddle. It was very simple. And when you got to the end, and you go and check the guy's knowledge at the end of this message, it'd be totally different, and it wouldn't even have the same words in it. It'd be completely different, or they couldn't remember what was said. That's the other reason why you use a work log, or text, or email, or paper, because now you have it documented. You know what you said. You have clear buoyancy of what was said. And sometimes you'll get in a text, I'll get confirmation back. I'll get okay, roger, understand. So I told another general foreman, I said, I'm not going to be in tomorrow. He didn't write it down. What he did in my text is, thanks for reminding me. So now it's in the text, and he'll have it. So when he goes look up my name and say, hey, I need Henry to go do something, he's going to see it in there and go, oh, snap, that's right, he's off. So that's why you do things, text, email, or written. That's why I have my Rant and Rave coffee shop on communications, right? And this is another great feature I'm going to reemphasize for communicating, is the work log. You got to have a tracker and a log to give your people to work off of, and it helps you as a leader that, 1, become better, it sharpens your mind, 2, it makes you plan, 3, you got documented data that you told the guys what to do, when to do it, when to last. You got something to go back and track on. It's a good tool. I'm done ranting on it. I'm going to try to stay under 15 minutes. But if you don't use it, I recommend you come up with something to use to track your work so you can do better with your people and lead them better. I hope I help. I want everybody to have a great day. That's Henry's Coffee Shop Talk. Have a good day.